After 25 years of mastering the art of making electric hybrid cars, Toyota has cranked up the game and joined the league of EV manufacturing companies. So what makes the Bz4X different from the others, and why should you even consider getting one? We will discover why only geniuses find it their choice car. So if you're wondering what true ingenuity has to do with this car, you must watch this video till the end. Aside from the weird name and simple looks, there's more to the Toyota Bz4X than meets the eye, although many people would agree that the name seems to have been given by someone who had a tiring day and felt very uninspired. It's not without its meaning. The BZ stands for Beyond Zero, 4 maintains its meaning, and the X stands for crossover. So pronouncing it would sound like this: Toyota Beyond Zero 4 crossovers. That's a mouthful. However, we're not here to talk about the choice name. Instead, we're looking at the ingenuity of the car. For more than a decade, Toyota has been doing a good job of making hybrid electric cars, and for the first time, Toyota has switched to making pure electric vehicles. The Toyota Bz4X is a 5-seat compact midsize refined electric crossover, which seems to be no different from any other EVs you can find. The outlook of the car is impressive. It has good creases, and it's nicely curved. It was designed to look as simple as possible, but it's not without its functionality. The front panel looks quite mean, having the sensors of all the different systems incorporated into the full-width bar at the front fascia. The headlights are a pair of unique full LED headlights that provide LED daytime running light. There are also some functional air vents on both sides of the car. The wheelbase is about 112 inches long, and its overall length is 185 inches long. This sight is approximately 6 inches longer than the Toyota RAV4, which seems to be the same size footprint as the Bz4X. The higher models have a set of 20-inch attractive wheels wrapped in two 35/50 series tires. They have a cool spoke color design with the black inner spoke, which gives it a sort of machine look. On the other hand, the lower model has a smaller 17-inch wheel. This improves the range of the vehicle greatly. There are about 8.1 inches on the Bz4X in terms of ground clearance, so it's down to earth. We cannot forget the enormous plastic wheel arches by the sides, which seem a bit polarized but not out of place. The interior imitates the outside. A little display sits in front of the steering wheel, coupled with a touchscreen that comes in either 8 inches or 12.3 inches, depending on the grade. Oh, did we mention that there are 4 grades of the Toyota Bz4X? We'll get to that shortly. Now, one thing you might find a little weird is the sitting arrangement. If you have longer arms, you may feel a little awkward. Also, because there's a little screen right in front of the steering wheel. Having the wheel obscure some parts of the screen is a no-brainer. That seems like a problem that Toyota may have solved with the yoke-styled one-motion steering wheel incorporated in the car. This steering wheel comes with a variable steering rack, so in simple terms, you wouldn't need to move the wheel in a way that would block you from getting a good view of the screen right in front of you. Inside also has a nice blend of materials. The dashboard, for instance, is covered in fabrics and also looks well put together. As far as storage goes, the Bz4X is endowed with a big center console with some extra storage space. This seems to be a sort of compensation for a lack of a glove box in the Bz4X. Also, you don't have to worry about where you place your coffee. On the center console, you have a wireless charging pad for your phone, which was brilliantly built. The lid that covers it is transparent, making it easy for you to see your phone screen if you have notifications without having to pick it up. The car's back seat is quite spacious, having about 35.3 inches of legroom according to the spec sheet, so you don't have to worry about having enough legroom. There's also plenty of headroom, although it seems a bit brighter due to the opening on the roof of the car. The back seat has an adjustable recline and an armrest that folds down at the center. The armrest also comes with 2 cup holders. Another perk of the Bz4X is the extra charging space at the back seat right on the center console. The boot is relatively big at 452 liters. The rear hatch has a very wide hatchback coupled with a low lip, giving ample room for all the luggage you may want to include. Now to the powertrain of the vehicle. The Toyota Bz4X has a water-cooled battery that grosses 71.4 kilowatt-hours right under the car's floor. This seems to add a sort of rigidity to the car in general. The water-cooled battery comes with 2 options. The first option is a single-motor front-wheel drive with 201 brake horsepower, 196 pound-feet of torque, and 317 miles of range, largely dependent on the spec you're going for. The second option has a dual-motor all-wheel drive version, which has 107 brake horsepower motors at both ends. This option gives 214 brake horsepower, 248 pound-feet of torque, and about 286 miles of range on it. Going for the front-wheel drive option gives you a better range. While the battery pack on the front-wheel drive model is 71.4 kilowatt-hours, the all-wheel drive has a slightly larger battery pack of 72.8 kilowatt-hours. Of course, these are undoubtedly excellent figures for the Bz4X, especially the single-motor version that breaks breaks the 300 barriers. We are talking about 4.4 miles per kilowatt-hour efficiency. That's a decent competitive range for an EV. Both models use a 1-speed automatic transmission and a single-speed reduction gear transmission, which is very common in all types of EVs. Besides the good range, the charging is also top-notch. The early Bz4X models will only have 6.6 kilowatt AC charging on level 2, and it usually takes about 10 to 11 hours to charge the battery fully. However, from later in 2022, cars will come to have 11 kilowatt. Notwithstanding, the front-wheel drive will get 150 kilowatt DC fast charging from the more generic CCS2 plug. This is 50 kilowatts faster than the all-wheel drive model, which only accepts about 100 kilowatt hours. This means that you go from 10 to 80% in about half an hour on the all-wheel drive model with a public charger that's big enough, and 9.5 hours charging from a home wall box. However, it will take you about 40 minutes to charge from 10 to 80% on the front-wheel drive model. The Toyota Bz4X comes in 4 grades, namely Pure, Motion, Vision, and Premier Edition, making the cost of the Bz4X between $19,500 and $51,550 with a wide range of specs and options. The Pure and Motion grade both have 18-inch alloys, with their top tier at 20 inches. The Premier Edition has a panoramic roof opening, giving you a clear view of the sky. The Premier Edition seems to have all the boxes ticked when it comes to specs. It's loaded across the board. The only hindrance to getting all is if one option contradicts another. The Pure grade has the smaller 8-inch multimedia center board and black fabric seats. As for the other grades, they get a 12.3-inch center board and synthetic leather seat. The higher grades also have the option of rear seat heating. One genius act from Toyota is the app created for your mobile phone that comes with the Toyota Bz4X. It's called Teammate. This app makes it easier for you to operate your EV. It's loaded with useful paraphernalia like locking and unlocking your car and giving you car-to-door navigation. You can also preheat the cabin or battery of your car through this app. With this very useful invention, it's evident that the creation of the Toyota Bz4X was thoroughly thought through, and it will all make sense once you get used to the car. This EV is simple as it gives a calm feel while moving. If that's the vibe Toyota was gunning for, they hit the bullseye. The drive feels competent enough without the neck-snapping acceleration you'll normally find on other EV models. Simply put, there won't be a need for speed or sportsmanship as far as the Toyota Bz4X is concerned. For instance, the brake regeneration is good enough but not aggressive. Like most electric cars, the Bz4X is very perky from the standing start, making it good for pulling away from the traffic light. The Bz4X was built in conjunction with Subaru, and it has some pretty cool electronic tricks up its sleeves. There's a 4x4 system with the model with the 2 motors. Right in the car, there's a button that indicates X mode. The X mode simply means that this car can cope with a bit of off-road. The ground clearance is also one feature that aids the car's off-road capabilities, so if you find yourself in a sticky situation, your car should be able to carry you to the very end. This is great leverage that the Bz4X has over its counterparts in the EV community. Compared with other EVs, the Bz4X will cope better with wet grass, odd paddocks, and a bit of tricky track winter conditions. Toyota also made provisions for wading. The Bz4X can go through water up to a depth of 500 millimeters, just above the tires. The car has the right waterproofing to make it functional. The Bz4X does the job more competently than an emotional one. It does the job well, but you don't get butterflies while driving it. In terms of curb weight, the Bz4X is slightly lighter than its competitors. A front-wheel drive model is about 4,200 to 4,300 pounds, while the all-wheel drive version is about 4,500 pounds. The Toyota Bz4X is a car filled with many genius inventions, and Toyota is confident in this creation that owning a Bz4X comes with a good backup. The one-stop shop subscription model is a decent play, and if you're looking to get a fuss-free ownership, it's just ideal. The subscription covers most of the maintenance, from providing a home wall box to aggregated one-bill charging solutions. In addition, you have the option of choosing any length of time you wish. You get to choose from a laundry list of handy items, and you can also get insurance. All these don't come cheap, but it does make owning a Bz4X a lot easier to manage. If you like all the specs we've mentioned, you are a genius. The Toyota Bz4X is very impressive and shines among its other counterparts. It's very functional and seems to have incorporated what many next-generation EVs will soon adapt. If you had to choose any of the grades, which would you be going for, and in what model? Do you think the one-stop shop subscription plan is worthwhile, and will you be trying it out? Let us know what you think in the comment section.